Oh my goodness, it's that time. Let's do this. Where is it? There's a button over here. It's one of these, right? Let me see. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. Am I getting? Yeah, I am getting. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is February 27th, 2025, and we're gonna write a little bit of code today. And my hat's just not sitting. Ah, there we go. How you doing there, friends? My goodness, it has been it has been a few days, and we haven't worked on our project Sharp Site. We're going to be doing that today. We're going to talk a little bit about .NET Aspire 9.1. We're going to do a little migration forward of Sharp Site to Aspire 9.1. Take a look at some pull requests that were opened and sent in from some viewers out there, and we're going to continue working on our getting started experience for SharpSite. But before we do that, let me talk to the chat room. They are right over here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. I didn't send out a going live tweet or Blue Sky post or any of that stuff. I just said, go, let's get started. Let's get things going here. Hello out there. I'm seeing the Restream bot is not copying messages back and forth. Let's see if I can just give that a little tweak here. Where is it? There's a button on Restream that'll do that. It's over here, one of these. And chat settings, yes, bots. There we go. Let's see if the relay mode kicks in now. Let me catch up because I do see some messages. Jay is over here from the UK watching on YouTube. How you doing out there, Jay? Welcome. Yeah, for some reason Restream didn't pick it up and isn't showing it over here, but I'll keep an eye on YouTube. I'll make sure that we all get included here. C# Titan, good evening to you in Melbourne. And they continue. Aspire 9.1 release is super awesome. So many major improvements. Love the database grouping and localization support. This is very much the 9.1 release was a bunch of patches, a bunch of fixes, and a handful of, more than a handful of database quality of life improvements, right? Just little things to make to make the dashboard easier to use, to make it appear better, to make it friendlier to folks who are non-English speakers. I think those things alone make it a nice point release. There's a couple of great integrations that folks have been waiting on. Service Bus, Cosmos DB, that are great to see out there that folks are going to be able to work with, especially if you're using those services out on the big Microsoft Azure cloud. It's fantastic to see that moving forward. And I can tell you that 9.2, you can see the 9.2 planning. The issues are out there that are tagged in the 9.2 milestone. There's some good stuff that's planned. They've been triaging for the past few days, looking at what do we want to bring into 9.2, what are the big boulders that they want that are going to take some time to fix, to improve, to build. They're putting those in the mix, and then there's going to be a bunch of other fixes and improvements that go around those. And the team is qualifying and putting those together now. It's really great to see that process started. I'm going to get some music playing in the background here before we continue with our chat. Let me go with the stream beats. Where is it? I want the synthwave playlist today, so we just have some chill music in the background. We'll start with this song called Drive Into the Night. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Check it out at streambeats.com. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for putting this music together that we're listening to today. Yeah, that's in the background, right? You can hear that. I was kind of shocked last time folks were saying, I can't hear music at all. Like, I've got a lot of it in the background here. You should be hearing this. Digital Dummy, hello. Good to see you there. Weird Beard Dev with a happy Thursday. Minoj, good morning to you. Billy Cool with a big wave. And Billy learned that Obsidian is free for work. Yes. Yes, it is. Anybody can use Obsidian now. I love using the Obsidian notebook. I use it For my daily notes, I keep to-do lists in there. I do project planning in Obsidian. There's things that I don't have that I don't have publicly declared out there as GitHub projects that are either private projects or I've completely taken offline. I do planning and I jot down notes in Obsidian. I carry a 7-inch Google tablet, Android tablet, at conferences now. And if you see me with my C# hip bag, I have it in there. And when folks ask me questions, when there's a suggestion, when there's something that I need to take back and do something about, I take out my little 7-inch tablet and I'm writing stuff down in Obsidian and bringing it back and reviewing it later. Really great stuff. The sync processes on it are amazing. There's some great graphs that it'll generate to show you the relationship between the various things that you're working on. Being able to link and see references between things is amazing. And it's Markdown. It's Markdown. It's all simple text sitting on disk that if they wanted to compress it would take up even less space. But it is really, really good. You would love Obsidian on your Kindle Scribe. I don't know if it works on the Kindle, but it is an Android app, so you should be able to get it. Should be able to get it. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Nalian with a comment. Good interview of David Fowler by Nick Chapsis about the future of Aspire on YouTube. I watched that, and it's good to see Nick is on the Aspire bandwagon. That he appreciates what it's trying to do, that he's on there, and that we're getting some good promotion of .NET Aspire. We firmly believe that the things that .NET Aspire does are what you should be doing when you build applications. They're right, and we all look at our applications, and nobody's going to disagree with it should have logging. It should have tracing, distributed tracing. It should have some metrics that get reported. The challenge is we don't want to build it. We don't want to write those things. It takes time trying to figure out where it plugs in. But the way that it's done with .NET Aspire and the telemetry hookup, out of the box, you get some really, really good telemetry. You get health checks that just work. They're not perfect, but they're the simplest type of health checks that you could build for an application without doing any research, without doing any investigation. It's fantastic stuff. So the Kindle Scribe, doesn't that run Android? Doesn't that run Android apps? It should be able to do it. Hello, how you doing there on YouTube? Is it Thakur? Hello, welcome. I was curious to see what the hat command was going to give us for. Oh shoot! It's not going to give us anything because somebody forgot to make sure that the OBS proxy is running. So there's that. No store as such. Should be there. Let's see what it gets. So. Right, that's the hat command takes a picture, sends it off to Azure OpenAI, where it's going to scan and report back what it is. Black baseball style hat featuring a circular logo in the center designed to resemble political campaign button and prominently displays the text Loki in bold black letters, references the Marvel Comics character Loki, blending his mischievous persona with a satirical political theme. Yes. So, a hat fit for the god of mischief. I'm not the god of mischief, but there we go. So, okay. Where do we want to go here? There was a number of pull requests. I think there were 2 pull requests that were opened over the last few days by DGen1 to address some of the issues that we're having with SharpSite. Let me create a project command over here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to the project just below. So you can check that out and you can get into that and learn more about SharpSite. Let me put the project command here into chat. let's see. Let's say reviewing PRs and building the new install experience for SharpSite. And we'll include a link to sharpsite.org. There we go. And we'll pin that message. There we go. All right. So, friends on Twitch, there's a message with all the details about what we're working on and about SharpSite. C# Titan with a question here. Is C# in the card still happening? It's on hiatus because, quite frankly, I've got like 4 other projects that are taking my attention that are much more interesting. The C# in the cards, a great introduction series. We got through 12 episodes. I've got plans for like 50 more. The challenge with it is, as I'm building it, there's like 0 return on that content. Like 0 return. The viewership on it is very, very low. It's frustrating, but like you win some, you lose some, you figure out what works, where we want to plan and plug in content, but they're not all going to be winners, and that's okay. Right, just jumping over to that playlist, and taking a quick look. After the first episode, it falls off significantly, and that's frustrating. What's frustrating is it's with the C# and the cards content is that it is it takes a long time to plan and build and record, and when you invest that much time and the return just isn't happening for it, I've got other projects that demand my attention. Yeah, 200 views, 300 views, 600 views. Like, I promoted them a little bit. I pushed them in several different areas, and the viewership just was not coming. And it's absolutely something that I want to go back to and work on. I've got other projects that are much more fulfilling to me. Each episode of C# in the cards is about 6 to 8 hours of scripting, recording, building the demos, and deploying those. Most of the demos are already built, but testing and making sure they still work, putting them into the notebook format and publishing it. For what, there's 12 episodes out there. For almost 100 hours of work that I've put into it, there's 0 return. And I've got other projects that are, like I said, much more fulfilling to me that I would rather spend my time on. Does Aspire 9.1 create a new database if not already created? No. .NET Aspire, when you use an integration that references a database, never creates a database, a database instance. It'll start a database server. It'll allocate for a database, but you actually have to tell it to create the database. So you have to run entity framework migrations, that kind of thing. So, is it 5 o'clock yet? Oh, I wish. Oh, I wish. Good morning, Napalm. Good to see you. So, that's the story, the little bit of the story with C# in the cards. I'll go back and record more. Like I said, I have like 50 more episodes planned. If I could figure out a way to get more interaction with it, to get more promotion on it, but my time investment just isn't worth it right now. I want to get back to working on my tag. I am pushing on SharpSite. I'm working on, I think, 5 different projects right now at work. Between .NET Aspire, between live streams like this one, special events that are coming up, building and maintaining workshops and delivering those. There's a lot going on there. So, yeah, quite busy. So, and I love that I get to spend some time with you out there, writing code together, talking tech, and having a good time. What are we working on today? Asks Mars. Take a look at the top of chat, not this chat, but there in Twitch. Take a look. Click the message up at the top. It'll tell you what we're working on. Robson Previato, good morning to you. Let me head over to the browser here and we'll take a look. There's a couple pull requests here. They're right over there. We're working on milestone 0.7 here, and we've been building the initial out-of-the-box experience, and it's not testing and building correctly here because we're rolling in new features, and we don't have the tests updated to work with this new out-of-the-box experience yet. More on that in a little bit. Hat Kindhouse, hello, welcome. So let's take a look. We have these 2 pull requests from DGen1 that look like they're pretty good bug fixes. Block duplicate plugin uploads, add a confirmation step if a script tag is detected in post-page markdown content. Yeah, those are both pretty good admin types of things that we should address. Eddie says, I need to look at the Aspire and database migrations. I really don't want to create a migration service container and instead do something with data context design time factory. You can do something like that. Right, you can certainly script out migrations and things and add them as a command so that it'll go and apply those migrations to your database. You can do that. The question is then how do you update them when you get to production? How do you apply them to your production space? There's what I do for Aspirify. I set the minimum number of instances to 0 when I do a deployment. This way, after it's done doing any database migrations, it effectively shuts it off. So running commands from the Aspire dashboard in my mind is a developer workstation thing and shouldn't be a DevOps thing. I was on, and some folks in the Aspire team think that some of these DevOps types of things should be available from the dashboard, and I'm not going to argue with them about it, but the things that of those DevOps-y types of processes that I also need to be able to run on a testing, a staging, or production environment, I don't want them to only be accessible from there. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying about not wanting to build a migration container. I am totally on board with that. Maybe there's a template service that we can build. We can see the community stand up so that, to exactly your point, you don't need to do that, right? Maybe there's a NuGet package we can put together so that it generically, you can point it to, right? You can start a background service, add the Aspire Postgres database migration package, and just point it to an entity framework context where the migrations live, and it does the thing. Maybe there's a process to do that. Don't know. But I absolutely hear you on, I don't want to build a new one of those on every project. I completely agree. Mars says, I feel like I feel that I have like 15 different personal projects. Yes, Mars. Yes. Right? And I try and keep things organized by creating issue lists and pull requests so that our friends, when they contribute things, I have a clear place to go to look and try and organize and get my mind around it properly. Ads are starting in about 4 minutes here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, you don't have ads. Napalm says, anyone else find Aspire bind mount data volume all a little confusing? No. Those are things, and let me bring up SharpSight so we can point to some of these things and talk about it. So we'll look at the source code here. Hey, Ramtenna. Hello with a big wave there. When we what blah 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 blah. What Napalm's referring to is over here in program. When we declare all of our services, we have some container-like configuration that we wrap these things in. So over here, when we add Postgres, right, and I moved all the Postgres configuration into this file so that I have one class that does all the database stuff, right? And it allows me to keep my configuration for the service a little bit cleaner and dedicated to just, here's what we're doing. So when we take a look in here, there's things like with data volume, right? There's data binding and other things. Right, these are very much container-like things that allow you, and I think they have pretty good descriptions. Adds a named volume to the data folder to a Postgres container resource. So it gives you a place to say, save the content over here. Persist this. So working locally, that's right, that's the kind of thing that we're doing with lifetime, with reference. These are things that we're kind of working on, working with as we build containers. So catching up to chat here. Hey, Mythin, how you doing there? I'm all right. We're going to take a look at a couple pull requests here, get them merged in and talk about them. Multiplexer 8. What happened to Fritz's Twitch Clips site? I remember lurking back in the day. Now I cannot find the site. It's gone. It's gone, Multiplexer. The short story in 30 seconds or less is Clip Talk was becoming more and more expensive to run. It was tracking 80,000 channels on Twitch at its peak. There were 30 million clips in the database, and it was costing me hundreds of dollars a month to run. And then Twitch released their own updates to their service so that you could search and discover and browse through clips on Twitch. At that point, it was a competing service that was on Twitch. I had no chance of adding advertising and recouping any of my costs. So I cut my losses and we shut it down. So that's the story with that multiplexer. I had a great time building it. We learned a lot building it, but unfortunately, Twitch had other plans for their service and they did not include us. So that's okay. That's their prerogative. I'll go back to what I've said in the past. When you allow APIs and you encourage growth and augmentation of your product's ecosystem, that means that you've got other people marketing, promoting, and building features onto your product that you're not paying for, but you're benefiting from. When you bring those in-house, now it's costing you to get those benefits, and if you don't do them as well as the other folks were building it, now you've taken a loss. You're having issues with data volume not working, but bind mount would do what you expected. That's weird. You really like the site? Thank you. That's very kind of you. The Twitch Clips API is terrible. Yes. We had to hack around the API a lot. There were all kinds of tricks that we were running to synchronize data from Twitch. And something that we learned, and we're about to see ads kick in on Twitch. Something that we learned Yeah, I'll allow that message from Mars. Something that we learned is that the number of clips that are created for some of the larger streamers, folks like Dr. Lupo, people are literally creating 2 to 3 clips for every moment of his stream. Not for every exciting part. For every minute, every second of folks like Dr. Lupo is the prime example I think of. So if Dr. Lupo runs a 4-hour stream, there are 2 to 3 clips of every second of that stream, except for the intro and outro videos. We saw this with Pokimane also. Test Drive 64, thank you for the follow. So for somebody who was building a service on my own dime and seeing those costs go up and seeing how those moments weren't scaling, that was something that for a one-man application that wasn't able to find any kind of investments, any kind of partner to help drive that, it was not worth it. The culture of creating clips on those channels was such that it was not sustainable. Like, in the past week, there have been 4 clips of this channel. I've broadcasted for about 12 hours over the past week, and there were 4 clips. 4! I'm a much smaller streamer than those folks. We average about 100 viewers here concurrently. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the gift sub.
Anonymous gifted Pokemonesto a subscription. An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Pokemonesto.
Thank you, I guess. Congratulations, Pokemon's toe. So when you see that type of traffic and the type of traffic that I was seeing and the smaller streamers that we were trying to promote and encourage, it just was not going to scale. And so much so that, in fact, now Twitch is cutting back and reducing the number of hours of those highlights, those clips and highlights that they're going to store for channels now. So, we did lose clips functionality, yes. Mars says, some days I think my kids... I'm going to go back over to chat before... where is it? Up here. Some days I think my kids are brilliant. Other days I wonder how they'll survive. My daughter is dual majoring in business admin and industrial maintenance. I think she's brilliant. Then on days like today, she drives 40 minutes to the wrong campus like a moron. Oh, no. Oh. Mythin says, nice presentation about Aspire 9.1. Do I know if it requires any change of configuration in Postgres? No. I do understand that the Aspire Hosting Azure package will add an Azure service using AAD authentication. When you deploy, if you use .NET Aspire to add and reference an Azure Postgres database, it will do the AAD. It's when you add and point to Azure or you deploy to Azure, right? So the API, there's an Azure Postgres API in .NET Aspire, add Azure Flexible Postgres Database. If you do that, it will use AAD now to get it. So, cool. So, that's absolutely... And there's a configuration override that you can add in there so that it will still use API keys and passwords. So that is an option to you. Right now, your project complains it expects a password. You take a look at the API there. I haven't updated Sharp site yet, but you should be able to. There's a configuration lambda. After you provide the name in that configuration lambda, you should be able to say with password. It's either with password authentication or I forget what it is. But there is a way to override it and tell it to use the previous authentication mechanism, and it should still work. You talk to whose clips editor? Eddie. You said you talked to his clips editor. Whose? Yeah, it's impossible to use that data. Totally. Multiplexer says, I see that audio and video data gets expensive at scale. No. So, Multiplexer, I wasn't storing audio and video. I was only storing references to them. Pointers back to Twitch, right? There were other clip services that were built that did store that audio and video, and it crushed them. The expenses just crushed those organizations. They had millions, tens of millions of dollars of investments, and they got crushed. I was only storing data points, references to them in a database. And tens of millions of records, and trying to analyze and do something with that data. The time scrubbing in itself is too much. It is. Storage is money. Oh, yeah. Storage is very expensive. So when are we refactoring SharpSight to be done in Blazor Rust assembly? No. Lupo, okay. You also learned Azure Chaos Studio is a thing. What is that? I'm not familiar with that. How you doing there, Blazor, Mr. Magoo? Let me head back over to the code. Let's talk about some of these pull requests. Let's talk about some of these pull requests because I think these are good fixes that have been brought into the mix. DGen1 yesterday put together this pull request to help us out here. Block duplicate plugin uploads. This makes sense. This makes sense. If you've got a plugin that's already running on SharpSight, right? Remember, SharpSight has a rich plugin ecosystem that we've started. We're going to encourage and see how this grows here. Abdul, thank you for joining us. Appreciate the follow. So, DGM1 said, I just added a check that if the folder that would be created for the new uploaded plugin already exists. If it does, prevents the user from uploading the plugin. The plugin is already installed. Makes sense. This fixes issue 141. Block uploading a plugin with the same name and version. Easy enough. 16 files changed. That's a lot. So when we add, if there's an error, clean up current upload plugin. Okay. Looks like we've got, what do we have here? Okay. And some resources to go with it. All right. That's what it is. Did you generate the resources? Did you generate the resources for this? No, they just moved around a little bit. The plugin is already installed. You did. That's great. Well, thank you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's a plugin is already installed. Error message to be displayed. That's fantastic. I kind of expect to run the translations to build out some of these. This is, my gosh, totally unexpected. Thank you. And really, I think we can run the translations now against GitHub models and get that for free. That's really good. We'll have to take a look at that at some point. I don't want to do it today. We got other crap to do. You know what I'm saying? So reserve names. What else was added in here? Or is it just what changed? Spacing change. Yeah, annoying. Ensure plugin not installed. Here it is. If manifest is not null and directory exists, plugins and the manifest ID version to string. Plugin is already installed. Log that error and throw the exception. Nice. Easy enough. That looks like a good enhancement here. thanks for fixing this, and I really appreciate you adding the translations as well. Very good stuff. So that takes care of that issue. And you saw it had already passed testing, so this will go through another round of testing, right? We've, of course, got a series of actions here. Now, we don't have any testing on the plugin system yet. That's probably something we'll want to build at some point, and if somebody is really industrious and really wants to go and figure that out and spend some time building a test scenario for that, more power to you. I am happy to encourage that, but we should... Why aren't they starting? Right, that should... Yeah, there it is. Like, I expect to see these things spinning. There it goes. All right, yeah, go. All right, so that's one pull request merged. And these are being merged into this this branch that this pull request is coming from, that we call the milestone release train. So this helps to queue up everything for the milestone, make sure everything works together, and then we'll push it into our main release branch. The other one that DGen1 opened for us here is called Add a Confirmation Step if a script tag is detected in post or page content. Makes sense. If we detect a valid script tag after clicking save, there's an extra step to confirm the save action. Markdown contains a script tag which will be executed once users load the page. Are you sure you want to proceed? This is good because this will help us perhaps not completely cut off cross-site scripting attacks, but prevent unknown ones from occurring. So, added a confirmation for that. And at 19, I'm guessing there's more translations in here. Confirm save button, adding... so adding this as a component. Save, and it has a confirm cancel. Nice. Now, okay, and there's callbacks that are being called. Okay. Okay. Little bit of spacing there and replacing the save button here with this new confirm save button. Interaction with the save callback, the cancel callback, confirmation required. Nice. And putting it on the edit post as well. Hey, that's a great way to reuse that resource. And then the translations. That's great stuff. And now there's some conflicts. Oh, no. Let me catch up with chat here. That makes the data amount even more impressive. Yeah! If pointers to data and their updates get expensive. It's, multiplexer, the data storage and access and indexing. And constantly updating it as content was being created on Twitch was what was getting expensive. Have I been using ML.net? I have not. The push is for folks to use more of the Microsoft Extensions AI features. So, ML.net, I need to go back to it and get back up to speed on it. Yeah, GitHub models are free. We take those. Hey, Ice Cream Stick model. The to-do is up there at the top. Hey, Ocular Malice. Each plugin should provide its own tests when submitted. What does that look like? Maybe the default base theme should include a content security policy to prevent some of the security issues. That's a great idea, Ocular Malice. Let's open an issue for that. That's a good idea. Zrela, hello. Welcome. Will I be adding Clam AV to the site? Yes. Eventually. These are XML conflicts. I am not looking forward to resolving these, but we kind of have to. Accept both. Alert page, alert post, confirm, cancel. Plugin exists and it doesn't have a value. Why don't they have values? And yeah, I wanted to accept a little bit of both, but that's weird. So yeah, these are missing entries. I mean, I don't mind if I have to go through and add. Am I gonna have to do this same? No, it's this one. Right. Copy that. Because if I have to keep adding that, yeah, what the heck? Here it is again. Uh-oh. There we go. Looks like this one just needs a /data. Right? What do we got on this one? Yep. Here, let me turn on. Do I have? Is the lower third? No, not that one. Oh, that's not. This restarted, so. Yeah. I need to start that. Yeah, we can turn that on. There we go. So let me show you when because I've well, not this one. I have a dedicated layer for typing typing angle brackets for typing HTML. So because I'm a web person, I do a lot of that. So in this model, I have my / over here and my angle brackets over here, right? So in this layer, I can go, and I don't move my fingers off of the home row at all. But I also need right value like that. Cool. And what do we have on this one? Yeah. Now I copied those 2 rows. Right, so I can just paste it. And I have my cut, copy, paste key right here. So yep, so I need to close the data tag here, right? It would be nice. It would be nice if Copilot would pick up and do some of this for me. So there's clearly entries here we're going to need to build. And I don't mind doing the translation on these. So commit that merge and get it moved over. So we'll let it build and test before I go and merge just to make sure that everything works. Adding the CSP feature now. Thank you. Yep, it's my Loki campaign hat. Issue 313. Cool. I don't know why it gets confused on XML. That's like a long-term Git thing. Like, Git has never been very good at merging XML. We should know almost immediately if that build isn't working. Right, when it gets to the localization there, yeah, we got it. So, tests are good. 38 tests passed. Nice. I love seeing so many tests running properly. Like, and it actually should publish those test results here in the pull request, right? But I don't see it. It should have. And then the playwright tests. Nothing's really changed over there. So let this run and see if it works. EDMX, EF merge pane. Oh yes. The XML standard format files that were designed for .NET back in the day, the resource files, the entity framework designer files, oh, they're awful. They're awful to maintain. So 9 passed on that. Good. So this should be all green. Squash and merge that in. Yes. Fantastic. So those are the 2 pull requests that our friend DGen1 sent over. That's great. Yes, the playwright tests are running reliably now. They're not running properly on this one yet because we're adding a first install experience, right? This is where we're going to go back and work on now. So when you first install SharpSite, we want to prompt you and walk you through an installation configuration process. Hey, thanks so much for installing our software. Let's get you configured with a base user, with a name for your website, and whatever other introductory configuration information we want. Well, all of our tests that we've built up to this point assume that the site's up and running, and here's the default user, and so on and so forth. And we've injected a stopper to that you can't get past. So the tests are broken. But that's okay. Because for this, we should actually have upgrade our testing process so that we have some end-to-end tests that run and expect that the site's already configured. Because there's things that you do in a day-to-day process working with the content management system and deploying and folks visiting your website that we do want to test. And we should probably have a set of tests that we want to run for the install and configuration and setup process. How do we test the initial out-of-box experience so that you can do things properly, so that you can log in and set up your own configuration and things to work with? So that's the really cool thing that we can do with .NET Aspire. Nothing says you can only run one instance of .NET Aspire. Why not run 2? Run 1 with its own isolated database and configuration and things that does the out-of-the-box testing. And we can knock that down and restart it and as many times as we'd like to be able to test the startup experience. And we can also have another configuration that already has all of the administration set up and the website configured with some sensible defaults, and run with that and take a look. .NET Aspireception. Infested says, I find it odd how real developers put so much emphasis on testing, but they don't teach us anything about unit testing in college. Well, let's talk about that. When you're in school, I'm not going to just use college, because there are folks who do learn software, a little bit of programming, software development in high school, in other schooling, trade school and whatnot. How do you test, how do you interact with your code to make sure that you have a completed assignment? Let's talk about that for a second here. Hey, Saw Bean Plays with the raid. Thank you so much for coming over. Welcome. Hope you're having a good day. My name is Jeff Fritz. And I'll snooze the ads there for a couple minutes. My name is Jeff Fritz, and I write software here on Twitch and YouTube. We're syndicating to both. We're working on a project called SharpSite that here, we'll go to the website for it. I don't have a website link here. I don't have a website link. Oh no. Fine. SharpSite's a basic content management system. It's a website framework that you can use. It's not quite there. You will be able to use that we've built entirely here live on stream. So, what were you doing over there on your channel, Saw Bean Plays? Let us know. Happy to say thanks and share a little bit of info about your stream. All of the source code, everything that makes up SharpSite is over here in our repository. C# Titan installed the Visual Studio 17.4 preview. I should have the... Right, check for updates. I should be up to speed. I thought I did this yesterday, because I think I should be on the 14.1. Is the one... If there's something new, I might not have gotten it just yet. Yeah, we're good. All right. You were unclear about what the team added for testing and how we can use it as devs. And that was something I was trying to get David to talk more about. It's not entirely clear, and that's something that I'm going to spend some time on over the next week so that we can talk more about it. There is a testing project model that you can use with .NET Aspire that allows you to actually start up the app host and peek into it and see how things are running. That feels like a good way to couple tests with Playwright. I don't have experience with it yet, so I don't have confidence yet in how it works because I just haven't done it, and that's not something I want to try and tinker with here on stream. I'd rather be a little more productive building something. So, back to the testing comment. Ooh, all right, we'll take a look at this. There you go. Infested says, our assignments were always relatively small, so I would just run my application over and over trying to break it. Yeah. In different ways with each run. Absolutely. Infested. Yes. But doesn't that get annoying after a while? Doesn't that get frustrating and tedious? That, okay, let me run it again. I gotta type in all the things to get through and try this out and make sure that it does the thing. In sophisticated systems, and you're fixing something that's way deep in the matrix, it can be really tedious testing and getting all the way in and navigated to that thing to inspect and see if it behaves the way you want. So I absolutely hear you that they aren't teaching testing processes in programming classes. I completely hear you. As professional developers, we encourage that because spending 5-10 minutes writing a test means then that each time you're going through to test that thing, you're not navigating through all those things all the time. So here inside of SharpSight, right, if I go to my test explorer, and you can download and look at the source code yourself, right? It's all linked at the top of chat there. P. Guat, hello. I see you over there on YouTube. I can go into the website testing here, right? And Visual Studio gives me a way to run my tests for the website. So I've got 16 tests for the website. I can tell it, go ahead and run all of those tests. And in just a second here, after it's done building, right? I'd have to wait for the build to run no matter what, right? So it's done building. It's going to go and say here, it identified all my tests. And in 5 seconds, I know that those 16 things all work. So as your systems become larger and more complex, this becomes more and more valuable. So when you are talking about smaller things, right, there is a certain amount in class of, there is a certain amount of wanting to get you to pay your dues, right? Wanted to do a little bit of shaking of the audience, of the students, and make sure that you're up for this. As you get to be a developer, all developers to a certain extent are lazy. And by lazy, I mean developers don't want to write the same code over and over again. Don't want to take the same steps over and over again. When you do the same thing more than 3 times, optimize it. Because we know how to write code. So optimize it. Write a little test that does that thing. And that's where professional developers encourage that. And we should do more to help student developers get acclimated to that process. How you doing there, Rambling Geek? Hello. So I hope that helps, Infested. It did get annoying. Yeah, right? And not only does it get annoying, but you get frustrated hitting the F5 build and debug button. Let me go check this again. Let me go test this thing again. And what's Infested, let me know if you hit this one. You went through to fix one issue, and you inadvertently broke something that you had previously had working. You probably had that happen once or twice, right? That's another one of those things where tests like these make the world a better, make your world as a developer a better place. And what we can do here, check this out. I can configure the run setting to run tests after each build. So, right? So I'm in, let's open the Test Explorer again, right? And there's even a live unit testing setting here that we can do. So if I'm in the website here, and I'm just going to put just some bogus code in here, save, right? And if I build, right? So there it is. It's going to do the build. Well, I just want to make sure my code works. Yeah, that built properly. Good. And that goes away. Well, it's already run the tests again. Right? Like, I can just kick that off whenever I want, and boom, 273 milliseconds in a quarter of a second. Got it. Ad start in 20 seconds. Briarios, hello. How you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. So, testing is a good practice to optimize some of those things that are frustrating. So, and playwright testing lets us actually navigate around the website and do that integration testing to make sure that all of our systems work well together. This is the 07 branch of the project. Ads are about to start here on Twitch. We still have a hamster's voice mod that I need to get to. Let me jump over to the code. Looks like I've got some uncommitted changes here. Let's get rid of some things here that shouldn't be here. SharpSight E to E. Right? SharpSight E to E solution. Get rid of that. And let me run a quick git diff. I'm doing all right. Is it Brayarios? I'm doing all right. Commented out, wait for load state async. Oh, because I introduced, I introduced Blazor click async. I was showing this to our friend Debbie O'Brien. Debbie works on Playwright, and I was showing her how this can actually simplify some things by introducing a method to run some asynchronous testing here. And we had just that spacing issue. I'm okay with those. Let's just stash that for now. And I'm gonna pull the changes from the remote. Cool. Fix. Include. Blazor click. Test. I don't know, something like that. And now I'll do a git stash pop. Commit those two. Added a Blazor click navigation tool for Playwright testing. And I'll get that in a pull requested up there. Debbie is awesome. Oh yeah. Debbie's a colleague, she's a friend, and has really been doing some great stuff to help teach folks about Playwright. I'll just put in a quick pull request for this. I'm not even going to merge it right now. I'm just going to set it up there. Started adding Blazor navigation assistance for end-to-end testing. Right? That's easy. And just set up that pull request. There was no fix. No fix. All right. And it's going to run our tests. I don't need to do that right now, but I do want to do this. Aspire 9.1 was released. Let's update our project so that we're using Aspire 9.1. So, in case you don't know, .NET Aspire, the tools that we use that help us to automate logging, tracing, metrics, service discovery inside of our application system, has a very aggressive support cycle in that when a new version is released, you lose support for the old version. If you want to maintain support, you have to update. We're on version 1 of this, so I'm fine with that. So in order to maintain support, we have to update to Aspire 9.1. So let's do that. I've got a clear button that I wrote for this. There we go. On my keyboard, I actually have a keyboard button that will clear my console. Yeah. So let me jump back over to the previous branch. I'm actually going to delete that branch that I created. Fix. Blazor click test. And this is going to be chore Aspire 9.1. Create a entry for it up there. And here, check this out. I'll show you on the keyboard cam. I'll turn that back on. So here's my keyboard. This, of course, is the Digma Defy keyboard, all programmable. But you see the red key here? I've got that set up so that it will clear my terminal just by pressing it when I'm actually cursored into there. Boom. So, right. That's nice to be able to just have it on one key instead of having to fiddle with typing clear the whole time. Yeah, thank you. There's my keyboard. So, Alley Face, hello. How you doing there, my friend? Welcome. I hope you're feeling better. So, I've been in the evenings, like over dinner and for like an hour or two afterwards, I've been diving in and watching a bunch of streaming television shows. And this started with Silo about 3 weeks ago, I started watching Silo, and it was because Ellie Face recommended it over there. And holy smokes, that's messed up, that show. And then I got into Severance. It's like I started doing the Apple TV shows. And I got into Severance. There is so much of Severance that rings true if you work in the corporate work environment. Like the corporate work environment and the cult-like atmosphere that folks respect and hold their corporate leaders with reverence. It's not respect, it's reverence they hold for their corporate leaders is ridiculous in the real world. When you add it into something that's a little bit sci-fi and dramatic, that Severance is, and I'm not going to go in and tell you what's actually going on in this show because it's messed up. Wow. And then hey, you got to check out Paradise. And I started checking out Paradise, and holy crow! So Paradise has 1 episode left, 8 episodes in the series. It's being released. The next episode is what, Monday, Tuesday next week. Paradise is messed up too. Like it's science fiction drama, and it is a very exciting series to watch. Paradise is it starts off. I mean, I can tell you how it starts off. I mean, it's the first episode. It's kind of like the plot line that drives this whole thing. The first episode of Paradise starts off in the first 10 minutes with the president's been assassinated. The president of the United States has been assassinated. Oh crap. What do we do now? And then the layers of the onion start peeling back, and it's like, whoa. Really good stuff. Really good stuff with Paradise. So, and then let me tell you this. I'm going back. Let me go over here and let me talk to you for a second. How you doing there, friends? So he's the donut lord from Sonic. Well, he also was Cyclops in the in the X-Men movies. Silo is very good. Sean says Severance is very good. Yeah. So a series that I had been watching and just dropped and stopped watching literally 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, was Battlestar Galactica. I watched Battlestar Galactica. Mrs. C Sharp Fritz and I would watch about a couple episodes of Battlestar Galactica every night. And she got so into it when we got to the 3rd season that I went away on a business trip. I was out of town for a week. She literally binged the rest of the series. So I come home from my business trip, and it's Saturday night, and kids are in bed. We're relaxing. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Why don't we go back and watch a little bit more of Battlestar Galactica, watch an episode or two, have some popcorn, relax. And she says, oh no, I finished watching. That's a violation. That's a violation. Let me tell you something.
Wait, let me explain something to you.
When you're binging a series with someone and you're on this long engagement, right? Learning and watching the story and enjoying it together, and the other person says, oh, I'm going to go watch it without you. That's a violation. So we went back and we're rewatching Battlestar Galactica. Silo is so good it got you to read the book. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I had this feeling about the Harry Potter movies. I got into the first movie and it was like, this is fantastic. I've got to go read the books. And I went and read the books. And it spoiled the other movies for me. So I'm in the mindset of if you're enjoying this story, if you're enjoying this thing in one medium, if you want to get ahead by going and looking at the original content and reading that or watching that or the Broadway show or whatever it might be, you're kind of spoiling when the update comes in the other medium, right? So, like, right, I went and read the Harry Potter books after the first movie came out. So I knew what was going to happen in the second, third, fourth, and I think the fifth movie. The fifth book had just come out right after the first movie had, or it came out like 6 months later. So, like, before the second movie came out, I was already 4 movies ahead. And I'm like, well, why do I want to watch the movies now? And then the movies got real disappointing because I'd already read the books. So I'm challenged by, do I want to read the Silo books or not? With my current schedule, I'm like, I shouldn't. I've got too many other things to work on. So, start binging together, finish binging together. Yes, Weird Beard Dev, totally agree. It says right here in our wedding vows, thou shalt not view a series without the other, without explicit approval. Well, that might be a little much. All right, let me head back over here. And we're going to get set up and do this migration to Aspire 9.1. So, the other thing that I've been working on, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this so bad. I've been talking about Project Charlie. We had integrated QA, question and answer, here for a long time, right? With I forget the name of the service now that we used to use. And then we built TagsApp. But TagsApp is very manual. And it's actually intended to go and use a bunch of different services. Charlie's the next generation of that. That's just one feature in Project Charlie that brings all of those together. Nah, it's not Q&A Maker. Charlie integrates what Q&A Maker does. Charlie does the frequently asked questions and response there. Charlie analyzes every question that comes in chat, whether it's on YouTube or it's on Twitch. And if it's a question that it already knows the answer to, it will respond immediately with the answer or provide a link to the FAQ where that will be stored. And there's a really cool lower third that Charlie's going to bring to the stream. See, I've been working on that. I want to get back and work in it. Is Charlie multilingual? Not initially. I've got other features that I'm adding. Let me ask you this, chat, and Ellie's heard me talk about this one. One of the features that I'm building right now is the ability to build a map. Lots of folks, when they join chat, right, whether you're on YouTube, you're on Twitch, hey, how you doing? It's Jeff, and I'm watching from Philadelphia area. You know, hey, it's Codebase Alpha, I'm watching from the UK. No, not a treasure map. Right, it's Thindal, and I'm watching from Sweden, right? These folks have shared their location. I'm not giving too much away here, right? But I'd like to put together a map that we can occasionally show on screen that shows here's where our viewers are. I think that would be cool. I think that would be fun. A neat way to show some of the interactivity of, hey, look at where all of our viewers are. So that's one thing that I'm building into it right now. The logic in lower thirds, I think they look good. To do questions, that's all running very, very well, and I'm excited about where that's going to go. So, good rant, 10 out of 10 sidebar. Thank you. Thank you. Let's do this update. And this update, we actually might be able to do very quickly, I think. Let's take a quick peek in the source code. So we're going to update to Aspire 9.1, which I think, yes. Here's the deal. Wait till you see this. Are you ready for this? All of our project resources and references are actually using central package management. Central package management is a way for you to use NuGet to put all of your package references in a central file, configuration file. So when it comes time to upgrade things, you update it in one place, and everybody gets that same version deployed and synchronized in your entire solution. So, really, really cool stuff. I should be able to just go through and do a quick find and replace on these. Look, right, there's a 9.1. That's something else. Right, so I should be able to just go through here and tag these as 9.1. This one's going to be a 9.10. Right? Oh, no, wait. That one's fine. Microsoft ASP.NET Core, all of those are good. I think these are okay. That one's probably okay. I think that's it. Just those 3 Aspire ones? Really? Let's look at the website. The actual website. No, we're good there. And the Postgres client? No, that's okay too. Because... yeah. Nah, it can't be that easy. Run it. Let's see what this looks like. Hey, is it Adam Snyder? Probably off topic. Could I talk to one of the Visual Studio PMs responsible for the code search window to make them remove the generated Blazor files? I've mentioned this to them as well. Oh my gosh, yes. I am way on board with that. Yes. Yeah, central package management. The .NET 9 packages moved to... well, I can see that. So they went from 901 to 902. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just right-click on this and say fix it? When it's a package downgrade? Like, sure. Fix it. Fix it. So can I just do a Control H on these? And say go to 902. Replace all of those. Try that again. Should probably check. I see there's some other ones here that might be out of date that we can update. Waiting is painful? Yes. Waiting on Severance is painful. And right, there's the next episode of Severance. Is that tonight? Right, Severance releases tonight. You never managed to get CPM working? Upgrade Assistant will help you configure central package management in Visual Studio. Is it possible to fix it with NuGet? Yes. This should be running here in just a second. Oh, I also want to set up some persistence on these other ones. Like pgadmin. Persist that thing. Don't start it. Yeah, those look good. Don't restart it each time. So let me head up here. Let me show you. Our friend David Fowler showed me this, and I was like, oh, you son of a gun. I didn't know you could do that. So check this out. When you go into... with Postgres, see the with pgadmin? I already did it in here. Container, you can tell it when you configure the Postgres admin to do container lifetime persistent. Same thing with Redis Insight. Same thing with the Azure Storage Emulator. You can tell it persist this forever and it'll just stick around. No, not CP/M. No. I can do the NuGet check to upgrade all the packages, right? Manage NuGet packages for the solution. There we go. And it'll show me the updates that are available. So, yeah, go ahead, update that. That's a 902. Sure, go ahead, do that one. That went from an RC. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. Sure, do that one too. I'm okay with that. Playwright X unit goes to a 150 beta 2. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not going to do that. But open telemetry's getting... I'm sorry, it went from beta 2 to 150. Yes, let's do that. Go ahead, do that. That's fine. Sure, and one of these also. And, right, folks say, gosh, how do you know if that's going to work properly? I built the tests. Run the tests. Make sure the tests run. Right? Like, I get the ability to do this, just check and update all the things, run the test, and then I know what broke immediately. Right? Like, that's the insurance policy that I kind of jumped into. That's not bullying. That yep, go ahead and accept those. So, here we go. So on YouTube, Terry asks, how do you handle the NuGet updates that breaks code? How's best to handle that? Well, we're gonna see here in just a minute. What are you doing? Why didn't it update those two? Do those ones. Let's go. Yes. Right? So go back over to Test Explorer. Rerun those tests. Now I've got 38 tests in the web project. Because there's also tests here on the Markdown helper. Right, for the script tag. So, if the build fails, go see where it fails and fix it. And all of those tests worked. Run the test on the plugin stuff. Make sure that works. Half a second in and we're good. And I'll run the end-to-end test. And the best way to run the end-to-end test is actually with the script that I wrote right there. So, right, we're actually going to just kick it off. Build and test. So I love this because it starts up the entire system, runs the playwright test, navigates the website, and comes back and says whether it works or it doesn't. So all of this code is available. You're welcome to download, comment on it, laugh at it, provide some feedback. I hope this gives you an opportunity to learn, and some of these things that we're doing here help you at some point in your projects, in your workflow that you might be going through. Here it is. My end-to-end tests are running. And you can see it's testing. There's a little timer that's running up behind my camera here. And all of them failed. Looks like Playwright was just installed or updated, so we need to update. Fine. I don't mind that. So, this is in the end-to-end folder. What? Right? No, it's this way. End-to-end. Sharp side, end-to-end. That should do it. No. It's like net 9.0, isn't it? No. Don't make me go... don't make me come in there. Bin, debug, net 9. Yeah. No. It's not there. Oh, I'm changing directory, that's why. Duh. Right. No, what the heck? PWSH. Playwright 1. install, and then we'll run the test one more time here. And then maybe we should do hamster mode while we're committing things. So, doing the updates, even though I only run the Chromium one. Right, because if something works in Chrome, it pretty much works in the other ones. At some point, we should include the Chrome, Firefox, and I don't see Safari in there. I thought there was a Safari that it would run. No matter. But get these updates and let it run and do all of them. Okay. I see you. Back up to the root. And, hang on. Run the test. Here we go. The Visual Studio Hub, yeah, they're improving the websites and ways to get more information about Visual Studio. Yep. So there it is. Now all my tests ran successfully. Now that I have the update for Playwright completely installed. So that begs the question, what about my Playwright configuration and tests that run? So let me open this in VS Code and we'll take a look. Can they improve Visual Studio first, please? Two different groups, my friend. Two different groups. The folks that work on the Visual Studio website are people like me. We're focused on developer marketing and outreach. While they're working on the product, we're helping promote it. We're helping get the message out and talk about what it is. And trust me, there are people working on the product every day that are looking at and deciding what to do to move things forward there. Let me look here in my Playwright tests just to make sure anything... Do I have anything pinned to a specific version of Playwright? Install the Playwright browsers. No, that's good. I should probably figure out a way to pull that out as a variable. Right? So that when we go to .NET 10, we can just replace that in one place and it works. But that's okay. And I'm not... yeah, I'm running on Ubuntu latest. So I'm okay here. Because I'm not using the Playwright image, so I think I'm all right on that. The other question somebody's asking, am I pinned to .NET 9.0? Yeah. Is there a 9.0.200 now? I thought there was. Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a look at my .NET versions. .NET info. There we go. I got a bunch of junk here, man. But 9.0.200. It shouldn't be a big deal to roll forward on that. So I think we're okay there too. Okay. Looks like a pretty simple move forward. Take a quick look at the change files. I think we push it. Updated to latest .NET stuff. I don't know. It's fine. It's good enough. It's just a message, right? You talk to them in the C# Discord every day? All right, then. You talk to who in the C# Discord? You talk to the Visual Studio folks? You talk to my folks? You were studying for AZ 204. You don't know C#. The syntax seemed terrible. What syntax seems terrible? Ads just kicked in. Well, now you missed my message. Sorry. So this is 312. We're going to set up a pull request to go 312. That's fine. That's going to go here. And why does it keep putting that default description there? Updated .NET and Aspire versions. Right? Let's see what it tests. For you, someone working in a small company, it's hard to grasp the notion of different departments doing entirely different things. Okay. There are literally a couple thousand people in Microsoft's developer division working on all the developer tools that both you use and that are available to purchase and that Microsoft makes available open source, and that Microsoft internally uses. So, right, like, it shouldn't come as any surprise that ASP.NET is built and features are added to it for Bing to use, right? The search engine. There are features that are added to ASP.NET for Azure to use. And there are features added for the Microsoft public-facing websites to use. So, right, there's things there that enhance how Microsoft, right, builds and makes its products. Like, the Xbox dashboard is built and maintained with ASP.NET. I'm not speaking out of line on that. We've been pretty public about some of that stuff. Like, that's something, right? These are, we call them our first-party customers, right? So when you work in a small company in a software development department, your first-party customers might be the marketing department or, right, some other department that's using the software you're writing. Your third-party customers are those folks outside your company that are working with it. Here it is, running the test now. So that's good. Yeah, running the test, good. So far, everything's building properly. And waiting for the test to run. Come on. Don't tell me this broke. Don't tell me this broke, or I'm going to be really upset. And I don't want to be upset. You wouldn't like me when I'm upset. Yeah, there we go. 9 passed. Good. All right. So, we're updated. Do I need to put anything in the README? Was there anything in the README about .NET 9? Where's the contributing? .NET 9 SDK, restore build, and that should put you on all the latest stuff. And the global JSON is going to force you onto a version. Yeah, we're okay. I'm okay with that. So, bring that in. And now everybody's working with the latest version of .NET Aspire. And this thing, that all ran properly? Sure, go ahead and merge that into. And we can start using that little feature. Oop. Clean up that branch. All right. We can get rid of this. That's rebuilding, and it's probably going to be upset here. That's fine. I don't care. So we are working on this. Let me see. Drave the One says, I'm not sure specifically what I don't like. It's just humanly, hang on. Humanly, not as humanly readable as Python. You're still a newbie, though. I hear you. Um, and I could say the same thing about C# versus Basic, right? Basic was written to be very human readable, very natural English. Python has the same mindset and approach. Python and Basic are actually more similar than folks would believe. But the stuff in C#, the trade-off that you make versus Python has space characters, not white space, space characters as significant markup. In C#, you can use any spacing you would like. I can use tabs, I can use a variable number of spaces, I can use a variable number of tabs, and it doesn't matter. In Python, if you do not use 3 spaces, your code will break. If you write an if statement and you expect things to be executed as part of a successful execution of that if condition, and you do not indent 3 spaces, your code will not execute the way you thought it would, because space is a significant character. Even worse, if you put if instead of putting 3 spaces, you hit tab, not only will it not execute, it will fail interpreting. Like, that's a thing. C# doesn't do that, because instead we add significant characters to mark up and define those fences around the code that is part of those block level statements. So while it does read nice to use spaces and have that type of offset so that you can declare and specify how your code looks, that's fine. That's a thing. It's interpreted. It's dynamic. And that means that you're not going to get any help from a compiler ahead of time. Right? Like, and that's okay. Like, that works for some folks who can then be much, much quicker at going through and reading and interpreting their code. I like having the computer that I'm working on tell me ahead of time whether I've written good code or not. And that's where we can get where C# with the compiler can give me IntelliSense, type ahead coding, right? We call it IntelliSense. And syntax highlighting and whatnot. You're welcome. And look, Python's a great language. It's not my preferred language. I named myself after C#. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a thing. Python doesn't really have threading. I haven't gone that far into the language to be able to speak eloquently towards that. But, no, I'm not going to talk about YAML. But you're not wrong. Let me see here. Mythin asks, when am I planning to make Sharpside a different organization on GitHub? That is a great question. Probably the next milestone. I think the next milestone will move it to its own. So, see if you find an example. Happy to discuss, right? AMA tag is on and you see I pause what we're coding on to have these little sidebars. I definitely see folks and agree with Python being more readable. What becomes a little bit tricky to manage with Python is how you manage libraries and references to things, having the folder structure. Like, it makes sense when you get into it and you start using it. When you need to reuse other folks' code, you end up downloading and putting all of their code right next to yours, which is kind of weird. Coming from a compiled language, but you see that same download all of their code, put it next to yours in JavaScript, right? Don't get me started talking about node modules folders. That's a thing. Like, that's kind of accepted in that ecosystem. Okay. We do that with NuGet packages, and some could say that's an inherent security issue, having binary code that you download that somebody else wrote that's living and running on your machine. Maybe. You've never written Python? You find its syntax more confusing than C#? So here's the thing. as programmers, when you go from one language or one ecosystem to another, it's going to seem confusing at first. And you're going to be confused at first. It takes a little bit of time and adjustment, and you'll get used to it. And there's no shame in being a little confused at first looking at somebody else's language. But here's the thing. Whether you're using C# or Python or JavaScript or Rust, they're all trying to do the same thing, and they all have basically the same structures. They're all basically the same. They're all trying to create conditional blocks with some sort of an if statement, right? Because we like if. If makes sense to us as developers. Want some sort of a loop that runs a specified number of times, so they've all got some sort of a for syntax. Like, you just learn the syntax and then discover the libraries that do the same things that you did over here, but they do it now over there. Java and C# look almost identical. They look almost identical. You can tell the difference for the most part when you look up at the top here. Instead of calling this class versions, the Java folks will call this com.sharpsite. Shared library versions factory versions. That's what the Java folks would write. That no, I'm sorry. I right. That's not a thing. So, YAML is godlike Python. No, don't go there. Don't go there. You heard Python doesn't really have thread. Oh, I already hit that question. Fencing analogy was good. I think that was probably my biggest gripe. Hey, and that's totally get it. I totally get it. Right? Having the flexibility of placing the curly braces where you'd like, and the other one that a lot of folks get wrangled about is semicolons at the end of statements. And when space isn't significant in your coding, right? When the space character isn't a significant character, it's important to be able to tell the interpreter, tell the compiler where the end of a statement is. So we use semicolons. Same thing with JavaScript, right? So, and right, there's a whole world of JavaScript folks who don't like semicolons. And I want to shoot them in the face with a bazooka. Because they're wrong. I've been writing JavaScript since 1996, and you're wrong! I've been writing JavaScript for 30 years! I read Douglas Crockford's JavaScript The Good Parts. I got to the third page and laughed. Thing you prefer of C# mostly is the syntactic sugar. Yes. And I'm still not getting the audio coming through from those sound effects. That's weird. Space thing is weird to me. They'll say that they don't like white space has meaning. You don't get it because all of them indent their code and use white space to organize it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can let me go manage the code here since we got everything merged in. I'm gonna jump back over to the 07 branch, pull in those changes. What did I do? What did I do? Just an extra space. Clear that out. I even typed clear. I've got a key for it. I keep pointing out I've got a key for it now. Did I pull? I think I pulled. It doesn't hurt to pull again. Yeah. I sound like a teenager. It doesn't hurt to pull again. No. Oh, that was bad.
It doesn't matter what you think!
It was bad. No, really, The Rock. It was bad. Okay. What branches do I have here? Because I want to jump over to feature out of the box. I can delete. Chore. Aspire 9.1. Feature out of the box. GH Pages, that's where the public website for SharpSite lives. And good. I'm going to merge the 07 branch. And, of course, conflicts in the resource files. Great. Let's go resolve some conflicts. Yeah. Right? All these stage changes. There we go. Yeah, resolving the merge editor. Don't mind if I do. Hit that button. You're supposed to open. I see this thing spinning. I don't care about it spinning. I want the merge editor. Let's go. I'm clicking you. You make me sad. Right? Somewhere down here. Yeah, we want both these Johns. Right? And where was it? Somewhere down here. This one. Look at that. Thank you, Copilot. Saving my bacon, getting that one fixed. You're not gonna do this one for me either, huh? Yep, give me both. That's fine, and thank you. I'm trying to accept you. I want to accept you, Copilot, please. Really? Yes, I want to accept it. Now format it. You make me sad. Next. The German. Zurück zur Website. Yes. That's right. There we go. Huh. Spanish. It's these same ones. Accept both. And there we go. And what else do we got? What happened? No. Let's see. Yep. It's right here at the end where we're adding new stuff. It's like Git doesn't know. Not GitHub, Git, right? The source control system doesn't know how to juggle the XML fences here. The tags, right? So like that feels like a good AI enhancement that could be done to Git merge. Figure out how to do XML merges better. Because more than XML, HTML. Right? I mean, it's kind of the same dialect, right? So do this and that, and there we go. Yep, merge that branch. All right, VS Code, go away. Cool. Now, that's going to rebuild and rerun all the tests out on GitHub for me because I have that pull request already set up. And you can, if you so desire, you can go take a look at that pull request and watch it fail out there. And you'll see all of those things that I just merged in there. This is going to get squashed out, so there's only one commit here, but this will fail. Once again, because like I was saying earlier, we have playwright tests that don't know that you need to have the website configured before they can get in and start actually running some of those tests. Yeah, I don't know why the audio isn't working. It's like it's the same entry for those. So, and it comes through the same endpoint, so I don't know why it's not. How you doing there, Dr. Cox? Been lurking for an hour already? Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. We're writing code over here. So, let's go through. How am I doing on time? Like, double check the schedule here, because oh man, I got a little paranoid yesterday afternoon because it had been a couple weeks since I'd been to Stockholm, and oh crumbs, did I forgot to submit my expense reports. So I go through and I started reviewing, and just about everything went through, no problem with my expense reports. That's me. That was my outlook. Never fear. Yeah, we're good. So I went through and started reviewing my expense reports, and just about everything went through, except the one night I got some snacks and I got a drink at the hotel, and I just bought it at the hotel bar, right? Just, you know, and get a little scotch, get a little snack to go with that, and sit down with friends and have a good time chatting. And the expense report system saw that it was an expense at the hotel bar, and was trying to push it through as a hotel expense, and was asking me for a receipt. Here's the thing: it was just a drink and some snacks. It was like $20 American, like 200 Swedish kroner, and they were like, you need an itemized receipt, and you need to tell us what all of these expenses are. I'm like, it's $20. So I turned it around from a hotel expense to a dinner expense, and it went right through. But I had to go through and do that, and I'm like, because let me tell you, one thing that you don't want, right? Folks that are new in the industry, in the tech space, there's a group of folks as developers that you want to make your best friends. Let me put a marker here and say this for a recording here. The folks who are new in the developer space, there's a group of folks that you want to be your best friends, and those are your testers and systems administrators. Get to be buddies with the database administrator, with the production systems administrators. Because when your code is getting ready to be deployed, whether it's out as a mobile app or a web app, and it needs to work back with a database or some systems, those are the folks who are either going to make your life a nightmare, or they're going to come back to you as sweet as sugar and work with you, and you're going to solve whatever issues there might be, and everybody's going to be happy. You don't want them mad. On the other side, the business people that you don't want mad at you are the accountants. If you have to expense something, if you're lucky enough to have a corporate credit card, don't mess that up. Because if you mess that up, if you use that credit card wrong, you can get fired for using that incorrectly, for purchasing and using it for things that you're not entitled to or that you haven't been authorized for. And even worse, if you do it bad enough, they will destroy your credit too. Okay? So don't make the accountants mad, and get to be buddies with the systems administrators, and particularly database administrators. All right? Clip that. Somebody clip that. We're gonna put that on a YouTube short and a TikTok and all that stuff. Let me catch up here. Deflux, how you doing there? To go watch the GitHub action and check the time, right? Yeah. When you left a company, one of those guys wrote a farewell letter. Hey, big friend, good luck and farewell. Yeah, there you go. So stay on the good side of payroll. That's another good one. Fuel Snable. Yes, the HR folks that work, right, human resources folks that manage payroll, manage interaction with your benefits. get to be good friends with them also, because they'll give you advice as to, hey, our insurance is changing. Hey, did you want to change your insurance elections? My gosh, we saw that you got married, you're having your family's growing, you're having children, you adopted. Hey, you may want to change some of your benefits elections, and they'll reach out to you when the notices go out. Hey, look, we want to celebrate because so-and-so is having a family and whatnot. So-and-so is getting married, and there's, right, whatever sharing that happens at the company. They will work with you and make recommendations to you for it. If you're not friends with them, they'll just point you at the paperwork and say, there's the stuff you need to go figure out and file. But if you get friendly with them, right, and you treat them with respect, they'll make recommendations to you that will help you structure your benefits, structure your time off, so that you get the most of it. So, hey, Eldorian, how you doing there? Had a guy who put his trip to Disney World on his corporate card. Oh. Our friend Dee Dee Walsh. I don't think she's here, but she occasionally lurks. But she's old school Microsoft. She worked at Microsoft in the 90s and a little bit in the 80s. And there are stories that she has of some of the ways that folks abused the spending at Microsoft. And we're talking 30, 40 years removed there. And she's told us some stories here on stream that were borderline corporate embezzlement. So don't do that. Don't do that. Like, if you wouldn't be using your personal credit cards and resources for things the way that you would use your corporate ones, don't do that. You work for a company that has a soft rule that you cannot purchase alcohol in the company cart, which is like, you know how much easier it is to do a business with little drink. Yeah. You made a point jokingly that since I'm an immigrant from the UK to the US, drinking is part of the cultural heritage. Wow. So, a previous employer that I worked for was very strict in their faith. And yes, alcohol was verboten on the company card. It was forbidden. It was not allowed. That was absolutely not a thing. At Microsoft, with the amount of travel that we do, and as a little bit of a morale thing, alcohol to a point in moderation is okay on expenses with your meals. We do have a per diem. We do have a requested limit to how much we should spend on meals daily. It's a requested limit. Sometimes you have to go over. You're in a location where that limit is not feasible for the cost of those meals, and that's okay. They'll work with you on it, but there's a request there that you don't go crazy on that stuff. So don't go buying tons of champagne on your personal visit to wherever. So let's see here. You have stories from a company like that too, the 80s and 90s. Oh yes, quite wild. Let me head back over to the code here. Let's dive back in. We're working on the out-of-the-box experience, and ads are just about to kick in here. We're working on the out-of-the-box experience for SharpSight. Did I get? Yeah, I did change over. Good. So we'll take a look at the logs here and get caught up on what we're adding. Where were we? We were creating the startup wizard. All right, take a look at that. So, oh gosh, Eldorian, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately, a lot. And I notice I still have BattleNet running down here. Let me close that. I like to play tanks in Overwatch. Folks that have watched me when I've done Overwatch streams here, I like to play the tanks. And I started playing a lot of Zarya recently. I'm number 76 in the world on the Veteran Mastery course. I don't know how, but I got to be number 76, and I'm like number 150 on the Agent course, the middle one. So I don't know, but hey, pretty happy with that. Yeah, Sean, I'm surprised. What's frustrating is the placements on those courses doesn't correspond to having a good match with teammates, because you're going to go into these matches, and while you might be able to handle yourself as a tank, creating shields and providing protection for others and attacking, if the other folks on your team aren't coordinated and going with you, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So last night I jumped into, I think, 2 quick matches, and the first match, literally nobody knew what the hell they were doing, and it was free for all, everybody for themselves. Second match, got in, and like I kind of forced the group. I'm like, group up here, you know, like I'll put bubbles on you and protect you. Bubbles, a bubble shield on folks. We just abbreviate it to, we'll just put a bubble on them, right? It's a shield. And folks are diving in and attacking, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. So I kind of stood like halfway back and let the DPS dive in and do their thing, and I'm putting bubbles on them, and then coming back after and just hosing folks down with the laser gun that Zarya carries. And it worked out nice. You haven't played Overwatch in a long time, but you've had a few people tell you that they really enjoy it. It has gotten significantly better. They've added what they call a perks system now. So after you accomplish so much, there are 2 levels of perks that you get that enhance and make your character a little bit stronger. Really neat stuff. Sean says, I think there'll be plenty of drinks on your business card at MVP Summit. I'll be there. I'll be there. Your free time lately has been spent developing resources for a GTA 5 roleplay server. Ooh. Oh, that's fun. So you learned a lot of Lua. Okay. Okay. Very cool. Let's start the application here. See where it's running at this point. And I think we need to do a couple things here. We need to figure out how to say that the startup wizard is, I think we know how to say the startup wizard is completed. And I think we're going to need to set up a second suite of end-to-end tests that will that will have the startup wizard turned on so that we can test the startup wizard. Or maybe we need a... Yeah. Yeah, we're going to need a way to turn on and off and reset the startup wizard as we run our tests. Ooh. That could be ugly. You're going to buy me a drink or few? Be careful there. Be careful. PG admin should have been running and hanging in the background here. Yeah, PG admin, container lifetime persistent. Did it just not finish running? There it is. Right? You're running. You're doing your thing. Good. Right, so for those of you who haven't seen, this is the .NET Aspire dashboard. You'll see that the database instance is nested now underneath the database server. Right, so now, and there's also the little pin here. Is persistent and won't be stopped when the app host is shut down. There we go. So it's telling me that. It'd be nice if this was nested underneath that. So can we say... oh, there we go. I can say with parent relationship. Haha. And I can specify who the parent is. Well, the parent is DB server. Can I do that? Right? DB server. What happens if I do that? Can I get... yeah, I know. I need to restart anyway. Because it'd be really cool if the PG admin was nested under the database server. The Landshark healthy drinks for. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. Okay, and that's still. Why is it restarting? You shouldn't be restarting. I told you to be persistent. Any conference you should put on your radar for this year to attend. Manager has been asking me if you have any you want to go to this year. KCDC is really good. Right? That's in early August. That's always a good event. Jeff and John, the two fellas that lead that, are great planners and organizers. And yeah, I was going to say that was one reason why I suggested KCDC. Let me check. Because there's events that I know about that I can't remember if they've been publicly announced yet. Right? So, like, that's a thing. I don't know if I'd recommend Microsoft Build as a training event. Microsoft Build isn't so much a training event as much as it's an announcement and here's the new technology event. DevUp in the St. Louis area is... I haven't been to DevUp. That's one that I need to check out. Ignite is not one that I would recommend for software developers. I've also got reservations about it it's in San Francisco this year. So I've got some real reservations about it there at Moscone. And my concerns are mainly around the size and what they plan on do with it at that event. I will be speaking at Stir Trek in Columbus in the beginning of May. And that coincides with the Thunderbolts release. That movie. Nebraska Code. I was at that one year. No, it was Connectaha was what I was at, not Nebraska Code. I can't get into Beer City Code. The smaller third-party events I can't really recommend for somebody to travel a good distance to go and attend. Build can be fun. Build since 2018 has changed. That's kind of a thing. It's not centered. It's not centered. I thought I did a whole thing on centering this drawing. We'll have to fix that. Or was it centered on Firefox? If it's only centered on Firefox, that annoys the crap out of me. That annoys me. The other big events that I would look at, VS Live in Orlando in typically November, December is their big event. You're going to see a lot of Microsoft folks at that one. I haven't heard anything about a Dev Intersection event yet. Those two events are almost second-party events at this point because of how much sponsorship Microsoft puts into those. If you were overseas, I'd say to check out one of the NDCs. You know, in Europe, NDC Oslo is really good. NDC London is really good. But VS Live in Orlando, I would point you to at this point. So bring your family, and in the evenings go spend time. So VS Live in Orlando is at it's at Universal Studios. It's at one of the Universal Studios theme park hotels. So you've got fantastic hotel, great service there. You can end up paying resort fees to stay there, but in the evenings, stay in a couple extra days and go to the parks with your family. So Orlando Code Camp is a good event that for folks that are in Florida. I wouldn't travel to go to Orlando Code Camp. If you're in Florida, go. It's a great event. It's huge, fantastic. I can't remember if it's still free. It might be like a $10 or $20 admission just to cover the cost of food and renting, paying for the facility, because they are at a community college and they have a bunch of classrooms that they use for the day. Really, really great event at Orlando Code Camp. I've keynoted that event in the past. You're coming to the U.S. in July. What? Tell me more. I don't know. Why isn't this centering? Like, it centers just fine on the other one. Like, what happened here? Why aren't you centering, dude? Well, it doesn't have the CSS, that's why. Just a holiday? Okay. Yeah, Seminole State College. There you go. Who's doing the keynote this year? Zebia, yeah. Tim Corey. Wow. Well, no, he's not doing the keynote, but he's sponsoring it. Wow. Google developer groups are part of it now. Speakers. Confirmed speakers so far. Blah, 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 blah. Here. Why am I looking at this off screen? Right? Right. Orlando Code Camp. And I didn't see... Hey, look, Isaac Levin right up front. Yeah, I don't see any word on a keynote speaker. Brendan Minnick is coming. Oh, wow. See who I recognize here. A lot of these folks are going to be local to, local to Orlando. Coming in from Edison, New Jersey. Like, really? All right. Working on SAP. SAP. Guy Royce. Wow. Jeff Ammons. Oh, he's in the area. Right, see, coming in from Jacksonville, like, do it. If you're in Florida, do it. Go. Jerry Nixon's coming in. Oh, my goodness. He's in Colorado. Lizzie Siegel coming in from the West Coast. Wow. That's... Okay. Mitchell Sellers. Wow. Yeah, Santosh is in Florida. There's Tim Corey. Oh, and he's in Dallas now? I thought he was in... No, whatever. All right. Software development manager at Amazon is coming into town. Wow. Okay. Okay. Old MVP days when we had Universal Theme Park all to ourselves. Well, that was Ignite, right? Taking Ethan to do the parks. Oh, you're going to have an amazing time, Rambling Geek. Why C# and Blazer asks Doozies. Pushed at my company to get away from that stack. Why did you push to get away from the stack? Why? It's extremely productive. It's open source. It works on every platform. It's got the world's largest software company supporting, sponsoring, and making it easier for folks to use, and they use it in a lot of their products. So, and I'm doing Blazor on the server. So, works great, works fast enough for us. So, why are you pushing folks away from it? Like, right? We know the right, ASP.NET performance on where is it? What's the name of the company that does I'm forgetting the name of the company that does the web stack performance testing. Not browser stack. Not Datadog. Tech Empower, that's it. So from 2023, so on the Fortunes, right, it's the highest commercial one on this list. Most of these others are different types of kind of experiments and educational things. JSON serialization. Right. This is old because we're much faster than that now. Plain text, of course. Right. Number 3 with 7 million requests a second. So it's like, C# is and .NET is a fantastic general purpose language and stack that you can use in so many different places without having to go retrain to do a bunch of different things. So you wanted to move towards isolated back and front end. We moved towards ASP.NET for our API and Vite React for the front end. Fantastic. That's a fantastic set of options you can use there. When you dial in .NET Aspire with that, it's going to make it even easier to do that. You don't have to move away from Vite and React. You can start up Vite and React for your front end and still have your APIs out here and your database and other APIs, run it all inside of .NET Aspire, right? And you're going to get all the metrics and things, and it's not going to show anything here because I haven't. There we go. It'll start loading some of that out. So there's great stuff there. So yeah, there's lots of great choices. There's nothing bad about one or the other, but I like Blazor here because it helps make me more productive building things. So, strictly for business logic APIs. Cool. That's fine. Front-end development is very fad-driven. What looks cool, what's easy to do. The front-end development stack changes rapidly. You're going to get support. You're going to get you're going to get different looks and feels that change on a very quick basis. Committing to a front-end tool set for some enterprises, for some governments, is hard to do because what's popular and interesting doesn't have support contracts available that they need in order to do business and to feel secure about their technology that they're engaged with. So, and that's part of the reason that I say working with open source is a privilege, because there are some organizations that, because they can't get a contract, a support contract, they will not choose an open source technology that isn't backed with some sort of support contract. So, have a good one, Eldorian. Thanks so much for tuning in. So, yep, .NET 10 Preview 1 is available. I'm not going to go into any of the previews with this yet. We're still way early from that. Now, that's sorted. Yeah. it wasn't downloading the CSS properly for that. That bothers me. That bothers me. Okay. So I've got my startup screen here, and I'm going to start to go through asking the questions that configure and set up SharpSite. And to Doozy, a little bit to your question, right? The source code is all linked at the top of chat there. It'll take you to the public website for SharpSite, and there's a link in there to the GitHub repository. Configuring and working with Blazor here has been real easy to do. So, like, why not? Like, then I'm not mixing and matching different technologies across different stacks. So, where do I want to go here? Thinking about the end-to-end tests and getting them working again. These are just going and trying to navigate and log in and use the existing configuration. Hey, Urban Blaster. You've been getting familiar with Maui Blazor apps? Okay. What do you think of them? How is that working for you? So we tried to do this setup to get login working in a way that you didn't have to go and click login each time. But it never really did the thing quite right. So I commented it out as async lifetime. Hey, smirking squiggly. If I'm going to have these tests, they need to run in the space of an already configured and running website. Do I stand up another suite that is dedicated for the first setup, for the initial configuration, and these are working with a configuration that's already been assembled, that's already been defined? Worked well with mobile emulator, unlike the regular Maui app. Really? Okay. To be honest, been working with .NET Maui lately, says Mythinum. I'm surprised how fast it got. Even in the emulator, I know the times where it took ages to compile and test something. Yeah, there's a lot more folks working on .NET Maui, and they're trying to make it a significantly better experience. They've got a number of folks working on it now. Yes, Sync Fusion has been helping significantly with that. Yeah. If I want to get this configured so that we have... Right, I want to get the tests working again now for the existing, right? Let's fix the existing tests. How do we tell it? How do we tell it that it's already been finished configuring, and here's some default values for it to use? It's almost like we need some sort of a bootstrap service that we can inject. that will add that configuration. You've been working with Flutter? Okay. Nosticode. Hello, welcome. Right, if I'm going to allow the injection of some sort of bootstrap code at startup, so that when the website starts, it takes some predefined configuration and applies it. That's not too bad for actually then being able to package and deploy something, is it? That's not bad, right? We can do that. So inside the web configuration, we put... Ooh, where'd it go? Activate plugin manager, security run at startup, startup config middleware. Here we go. That basically says you're not allowed to go anywhere except over to the startup configuration. With Cosmos and Azurite emulators. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very cool stuff. Let me move this out. Move this to its own file. And I think... Right, so... Yeah, this looks at the context, and if startup has not completed, just automatically redirect. But maybe, while startup is not completed, we add an extension and we can map an endpoint here that will allow the injection of configuration. Darn it, I'm done my coffee. All right, fine. So if I add another one next to it, that is like startup batch config middleware, right? That would add a map for an API endpoint that would allow you to put it. Hey, Marco. Nah, the project command's not going to work from YouTube. However, you're on YouTube. It's in the description just below. You'll be able to click into. There's a link there to Sharp site, and that has a link over to my GitHub repository for it. So I appreciate the interest in the project. So the use middleware, I should be able to. Can I map from inside that? No. Because I've already got context at this point. Right? I can't do... Can I do map? No, I can't do map. But I could inspect the request and do something with it. Right? Like, I'm effectively inside of an API at this point. Right? Right, I could do... else if context... if it starts with, let's say, start API, right? Sure. Okay, we'll do that to start. Let's see if we can get Copilot to write some of this code for us. Inspect the request body on a post. Yeah. And convert it to a application state object. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't think I want that. Let's take a look here. I don't want to do Newtonsoft JSON. No. Convert to using system text JSON. There's actually a way to tell Copilot to use and some preferences. There we go. Right. Where is that? Let's go dig that up real quick. Customize GitHub Copilot with, it's like a markdown file. Yeah, Copilot custom instructions. By using the blah 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 instructions. But there it is. GitHub Copilot instructions MD file. Yeah. Let's put one of these down so that we can tell it that we're using, yep, we're using Visual Studio today. How you doing, McNats? You love the 90s graphic in the header of that site? That's not bad, right? That was put together by, who's it called? I forget who it, you can say it. It was a viewer that put that together. No, this isn't just for VS Code. So, Copilot-instructions, MD. All right, don't mind if I do. We'll put that. Say here. I'll do it in VS Code just because it's easier to get into that folder and do the things. In the GitHub folder, new file. Now, darn it. In the GitHub folder, right, it's Copilot instructions. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now what can I put in Copilot instructions? Yeah. Yeah. Text file. I don't know what that is. Define new code review custom instructions? No. Copilot does not apply code generation instructions for code completions. Always use system text JSON for working with JSON markup. I don't know. Generate that JSON join using STJ. There you go. Now you're talking my language here. And I'll include that in the Solution Explorer up here. Add. I like to include these things in my solution items that are kind of important. Not in the Git folder. GitHub. There we go. All right. Moving on. So application state. I started typing app state. Why did you complete something else? Yeah, we're not going to load configuration sections. Not yet. I think some of these are okay. Need to enable this setting to get it to work in Visual Studio? Under Copilot settings. Enable custom instructions to be loaded from that. Yes. So, I don't have access to some of the Copilot features. And quite frankly, there's some features that I don't want to use on stream. Some of the preview features, early release features. Not yet. I have a feeling that I'm going to also want to be able to add the ability to define an admin user here and have it create that admin user for us. But for now, to get this working and get us past our current test issue, this should be okay. Now, application state is in the web project. Do I move it? There's a lot of things that reference this. Do I move it to my abstractions? No, it's got things here. Yeah. I that may mean that my end-to-end, does it have a dependency on the web project? No. It's not terrible to take a dependency on the web project. So, but on the other side, though, application state, some of these values getting kind of crazy. But thank you, DGen1, for pointing out about the that feature inside Visual Studio to check. So the end-to-end testing here. I can bring this back in. I'm going to take all of let's take you. Take this whole smash here. It's a smash. Create auth ticket. Right? And for right now, we're not going to do it. But it's out there. Playwright, browser, context. I want to create that application state and upload it and say already initialized for these tests. So the iAsync lifetime means this is going to run at the beginning of all of our tests. Await configure sharp site as existing website. Right? I don't know. Right? That kind of works. I guess we can take it in context. Sure. Right? And then I'll put the logic for this. Create an application state object and upload it and post it to yeah, start API. There you go. Do that. So good. I don't know if it's right yet, but we'll figure it out. I don't want you to go to it. There is no button. No. No. Oops. Down here. Post app state to the start API endpoint. Yep. No. You are all playwrighted out here, friend. But you really want to click that submit button. You really want to click that submit button. You know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, click it again and again and again and again. What? Using an HTTP client. Really? Tell me more. Interesting. Not what I was looking for. Try again. New HTTP client. Yeah. Sure. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. Why don't you like that new statement there? Huh? That's why. What? There we go. And we need this. That's a using statement. Okay. Let's take a look. Application state with a site name, current theme. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if that's really a thing. But also, we want to say... Where is it? Startup completed equals true. Importantly, we want to say... Right? I don't need to add localization. Oh, it doesn't know what this is yet. Hang on, fix that. There we go. Yep. Okay. Why don't you like that? Fine. I think that's fine to start. Let's call this my Playwright test site. There you go. Click it very hard and very fast. Why isn't it playing my sound effects? Right, it's this one. No. It's not playing it at all. Like, it's not even attempting to play it. There's a problem inside the bot on this one. Yeah. Yeah. So this should post that API and step through and hit it now, right? Like, that should be a thing. So let's put a breakpoint here. And where else? We should see it. Let's include this if in that if. Right? And then I've got... Yeah. I don't need to await that. Status codes. Write it like that. Okay, so if I run this now, it'll start up and I can actually run the playwright tests from inside of here, and we should see it go through and do all the things. Oh. What? Here comes app host. Let's go. How we doing there, YouTube? How are our friends on YouTube doing? We should do some hamsters voice mod here. That's hanging out there. So if I click into the website, I should get the default appearance here. But while this is all running, I'm going to go into the tests. And for the end-to-end, right? Oh, I can't run it from here. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want to run this. I want to debug. Start without debug. I have to debug. I want to debug. I'd really like to debug. So if I run .NET tests at the command line, I'll see if it hits, I guess. Now let's give it a try. Go into my end-to-end. Website should be, there it is running. And if I .NET test, it's going to start up all the Playwright gadgetry. That's right, gadgetry. Yeah, since I referenced the web, all these other things are being brought in now. And it's running, so I can't... Yeah. How are we going to run this? What if I move? What if I moved all the properties? Move the POCO for application state out into abstractions and have the application state inherit from it. Then I don't need to reference the entire website. Juggling these references like this are always a treat. Right, so end to end, I had added that. You're going away. So if I go to here, and let's call this application state model, which sounds weird. Yeah. And if we go to application state over here, we can inherit from like this, right? I want to pull these up. Current theme record. Oh, crumbs. Localization record. But robots text, we can pull that one up. I won't do that one yet. No. Site name, yep, let's pull that one up. We can pull that up. Sure. Plugins, no. Why doesn't it like that? That's fine. We're going to make you now protected. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted that. That should be system text JSON. Like, why aren't you finding system text JSON? Yeah. Sure. Yes, it is. Right? Like, oh, that's a Newtonsoft JSON. I did do application state with Newtonsoft JSON. Oh, no. Right, so that should get a little grouchy. No. That's okay. Mm-mm. Application state model. Try that again. No. Install Newtonsoft JSON. And now it should ask me for the using. Yeah, I told you to put the using statement on there. There it goes. All right. So now, where was I? Right, I can use one of those. And I think, okay, so on the middleware, I don't have the abilities to set the theme, and I didn't do localization. I didn't bring those over because they're a little bit outside the context of this. So I'm just going to copy those in and save the value. Yeah. Now let's try it. Didn't we use Newtonsoft? Yeah, there was the value parsing for the plugins. The way that it was saving the full name of the plugin is much better in Newtonsoft than in system text JSON. Okay, so the site's working there. So now let's try .NET Test. So there's abstractions. Here comes the test. And I wanted to see it hit this, and I don't have my breakpoint turned on, so I'm not going to see it. I guess we'll find out if the tests work, right? Nope. They're not going to work. They're not going to work. Stop. Stop. Put a breakpoint right there. In here, I'm expecting to see this hit. We're not hitting here. No. All right. Hit it again. Okay. There we go. It's trying to go to the root. Fine, that's going to get rejected. It's trying to go to account login. It didn't try to do the initialization. This. Oh. XUnit, test suite, setup. Yeah. Shared object instances across the entire test assembly. Mm-hmm. So, assembly fixture. And then we can do that configuration? Or created once before any test in your assembly is run, and clean up after all tests have finished running. So let's do that. Why is it referencing the database fixture? Do we need to? Let's try dropping that in. So, actually, it's just iDisposable. Which means I need a dispose. I'm not going to go crazy about that. But we need this, and I'll just add it right there, and put this here, put that there. What don't you like about that? Define must precede all other elements defined in a file except using clauses. Okay. So assembly info? No, assembly stuff? Sure. No. No. There's a using statement there that it should. It's not picking up on it. Newly introduced in V3. Well, we don't have that. I don't want to test context. I want to set up... Right, I want to set up the test suite. I'm going to do like a test suite setup first. Like, how do I write tests? I don't, did we lose that bit of documentation here on the XUnit site? Oh boy. This is not a step up that I'm ready to do. No. Oh, man. No? Ah, boy. If you're on creation and cleanup code, to use class fixtures, create the class fixture class, put the startup code. If it needs to perform cleanup, implement iDisposable, add the iClass fixture to the test class. For each test, it will create a new instance of database tests and my database tests and pass the shared instance of database fixture to the constructor. So, yeah, I'm going to create a single test context shared among tests in several test classes. All of them. If it needs to perform cleanup, no, we don't need to perform cleanup. Create the collection definition class. Decorating it with collection definition attribute. Give it a unique name, identify it, add iCollection fixture to the collection definition class. Add the collection attribute to all the test classes. That will be part of the collection. Mm-hmm. And then we need to take in as a... Oh, if they need access to the fixture instance. No, they don't. Okay, so this might be the way to do it. Maybe. So let's do the... delete the assembly stuff then. Delete that. That's not going to work. You go away. So, right? This I don't need a disposable on this, John. I said John. But write a constructor. This await. Oh no. Well, do I actually use... No. No, I don't use that. I can get rid of that. I don't need the browser context down here. But I do need that awaitable. So I'm going to cheat. Get a waiter, get a result. And what else? What else did I need to decorate this with? So then we need a collection fixture. So let's rename this. I don't know. Website configuration fixture? I don't know. That sounds good. Website configuration fixture collection. Let's call this. And even then, I don't like that there. Let's introduce a constant. Test collection name. And I had started putting together I need to hang that constant off of something. What if I hide it? Make this public. Can I hide that? Like, all of my tests hang off of this. So can I put the... Right. Website. What was the name of it? Dear Lord. Can I do that? And now all of a sudden, automatically, everything has it? Maybe. What do we got? It built. Let's see if it runs. No, it doesn't run. What failed? Oh, the test. It ran the tests. Ha-ha! I don't think it ran the tests. Like, it might have, but it didn't. I don't know. I am confused. Testing. Come on. There we go. Requested path. Account login. It didn't run the thing. Why didn't it run the thing? Collection is decorated with iCollection fixture as a collection definition. Oh, and it has to be collection, not collection definition. Yeah. Try that again. Here we go, friends. Run .NET test again. Come on now. Where are we requesting to go? There it is. It's going to start API now. All right, so it's going to deserialize what's coming out of the body. Yeah. All right, what do we got? We have our state model. Initialized is false. That's okay. This might work. Or not. Before I'm going to, where'd it go? Debug. Where is it? Disable all breakpoints. There it is. Also, let's go back over here and actually go to the website. Yeah, it's initialized. I think it timed out. Yeah. Yeah. So if I run the test now, they should all pass. Why am I in a new? No, I'm in the right place. .NET test. These should all just work because it is initialized and running. But no. 9 failed. Bad request on the ensure status code. So it tried to do and hit in here. So, right, it's going to hit this still. Yeah. Oh, and then it does it on wait next. I don't want it to do in the wait next. I want it to do a response end here. Shoot, how do we do response end now? Uh, Turn that off. Let's do a inner check here that says if we do a return here, right? Then I can still do this. If app state startup completed. I'm just going to give you a dumb, let's set like a different status code. Accepted. Because we accepted it, and that's about it. But that shouldn't trigger the, what's it called? Right, it's still a successful status code. It's just we accepted it. We didn't actually do the thing with it. Right, if I go to the website here after the website's done starting, right, that should be, yeah. So the tests should be good here. Because it's going to try and start up the site and start the site's working. These blog posts are already there. So there's multiple blog posts it's upset about. And we won't have this problem when we run it. Where'd it go? Schemas, public, tables, posts. We'll get rid of these. Yeah, 2 failed. Run it again. Now that those don't exist, it should create them properly. But there's another error there that it shouldn't throw an error creating the same post multiple times. Like, you should be able to create multiple copies of the same post. There, that worked. So now, right, it works with this little, yeah. Now let's run build and test. This should all run. So it's going to start up a fresh copy of the website that has not been initialized. Right? No. It's still using the default application state. This isn't going to... This will work, but it's not doing the new thing we taught it to do. So I do need a little bit of a rollback. This is an interesting problem. Do I need to save when I do this type of upload? Well, what happens when I call save? Let's look. Writes the file, that's it. If I just update the values, does it just work in memory? Maybe. Maybe. Right, so if we take that out, which then doesn't make it very usable for any kind of streamlined config. Right, yeah. Let's go. Nope, not in there, down in the web. Right? Here. Okay. So that just reset the site so that it should start up and hit my startup screens. Soft wrap? I could have turned on soft wrap. It should have actually done, like, there's JSON formatting it should have done. Right? No. I always get this wrong. It's like, there it is. Right. Okay. So the site's running now, so we should get the default config. Yes. Now if I go back over here and go to the end-to-end tests, this should inject the configuration that says startup is completed and then run its tests. And it's not saving that. So this instance is okay running here. posts are already up there. Right? This is the same thing. There's going to be two tests that fail because the posts are already up there. Because I'm writing it into my development database. There they are. I should put a cleanup in there. Yep, there they are. The 2 tests that failed. And what that means, though, is the site's working. Right? So if I restart the website, right? So there it is restarting. Rejoining the server. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Try again in your 5 seconds. Really? There it is. And if I try the tests again... So we'll effectively have the ability to turn on startup mode and turn off startup mode for our tests. This is a good thing. We're in the middle of ads, 30 seconds, and folks will be dropped out of the ads here in just a minute. Here we go. Come on. All the tests ran. Fantastic. Man, when I want to, I really can't type the word clear. What do we got? Let's add some things here. Add the GitHub thing. Add the Sharp Site abstractions. Sharp Site web. Yep. How are we doing with that then? Good. Added ability to inject app state at first config time. Now, we should probably add... Thank you, we're back from the ad. So we've got this flip working that allows us to pivot between the 2 running versions of... Right, the 2 running states of the website. We should probably add a test that when we're... Where did we go? That when the site is running and you try to get to one of the steps, that it redirects you to the root of the website, which we're not doing. That's going to be a different set of tests. We might be onto something here. Work with me, chat room. So, yeah, you go ahead, leave all that stuff behind, all that goo. Yeah. Sure. So in my end-to-end tests, I could actually have it pivot back and forth, right? I could also have it clean up and delete those tests. Those test blog posts. But my website configuration collection fixture right now, right? The big piece that it does is right here. Set startup completed. I could set up another collection fixture that sets that to false. But does it... Does it run everything in the collection fixture at the same time? You'll want to set up that test data, leave that test data in place for multiple test classes. And it gives you a single object instance. I don't see any guarantee of that. In which case, I probably want a second end-to-end test project that is just the setup, the startup stuff. That's okay. It is 12:45, and I've got a couple things to do before my first meeting here at 1. It didn't add the... website config collection fixture. Those tests probably didn't run, but that should run now. Yeah, that didn't build right at all. But with that update I just pushed up, that should run properly here. Attempting to download 90200 and installing it. Ooh, that's annoying. So let's take a quick look at this, and then I'm going to wrap up just a smidge early here. That looks like it passed. I thought it passed. Yep. And then the playwright tests. These should work again, right? There we go. Good. Here comes the tests. Now, I was talking to a colleague who tells me, you see how I run these tests? I'm running them inside of a GitHub action. My colleague runs these tests inside of a Docker file because they don't want the Docker file to succeed in building the container unless all of the tests pass. It feels weird to me to set up and do all the things for Playwright and run even a test database instance inside of a Docker file. That feels weird to me. These tests succeeded as well. So we've now got a green check. So we fixed our green check on this. We didn't add any new features to the out-of-the-box experience yet to help with that configuration. But what we did today was we fixed our integration tests so that they can work with a clean, fresh database, building and delivering the website. That's a big move because now we can set up end-to-end tests to test the startup experience. And since the startup experience is a different mode for running the website, we'll be able to set up, run those, knock it down, start it back up, and interact with it independent of this other version running. We'll actually run it as a separate suite, and we'll push in and make sure that it's got a fresh version of the website that it's going to go and interact with. This is really good. I'm happy with this set of tests working. What's going to become tricky is we're going to have multiple Playwright test suites that are running, and we're going to want to pull all of that information, all of that log information together. That could be a little dicey in how we build our reports if we're running multiple Playwright reports. There is instructions for how to do that, but that's going to be weird to pull together. I don't know. Maybe it's something easy. We'll have to figure it out, but it's something that I'm going to want to figure out next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. We did a whole bunch of coding there. We talked a little bit about a bunch of things that are going on with tech, with .NET. .NET 10 is coming out. .NET Aspire 9.1 is available. We upgraded SharpSite to .NET Aspire 9.1, and we fixed our Playwright tests so that as we add this startup experience, we can still build and test against the live version of the site, and we'll set up a different way to test for the startup version of the site right after installation occurred. Thank you so much for being with me today. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got tons of great videos available for you over here and down here. There's recordings of other streams that I've hosted that you can dive into and take a look at. Oh, we have to raid this guy. It's been a while since I've raided him. Let's go over and raid our friend Code Rushed. That's our friend Mark Miller, who's working on building developer tools live on Twitch. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming tomorrow morning. If I do, we might just play some games or do something fun. But I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Wherever you might be, I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.